Robin Roberts, wowed by Elizabeth Banks' brush with death. Robin Roberts, the cherished anchor of Good Morning America, GMA, is known for her compassionate meetings and capacity to interface with her visitors on a profound level. As of late, she was left dazed by a frightening story shared by entertainer and chief Elizabeth Banks, who related a brush with death that significantly influenced her life. This disclosure enamored Roberts as well as resounded with the crowd, helping everybody to remember the delicacy of life and the strength that comes from defeating such frightening minutes. 1. Elizabeth Banks' brush with death, the stunning disclosure. Elizabeth Banks, known for her parts in films like the Craving Game series and her work as a chief, is ordinarily viewed as areas of strength for a figure in Hollywood. Nonetheless, during her appearance on GMA, she opened up about a frightening episode that almost ended her life, leaving both Robin Roberts and the watchers at home in wonder. The occurrence. A standard method turned out badly. Banks uncovered that the episode happened during what should be a normal operation. Without meticulously describing the idea of the methodology, she shared that inconveniences emerged startlingly, prompting what is going on. The snapshot of emergency. As Banks depicted the second she understood something was genuinely off base, the unease in the studio was overwhelming. She described how she out of nowhere felt her body responding in manners that flagged outrageous pain, and it immediately turned out to be obvious to her and the clinical group that her life was at serious risk. Endurance, despite everything. Speedy clinical reaction. Luckily, the clinical experts taking care of Banks acted quickly. She credited their speedy reasoning and skill with saving her life, taking note of that in the event that they hadn't answered as they did, she probably won't be here today. The result, Banks depicted the outcome of the occurrence as a time of profound reflection. Getting through such a nearby brush with death constrained her to rethink her life, her needs, and the manner in which she moves toward her work and individual connections. This experience, she said, lastingly affects her, molding the individual she is today. 2. Robin Roberts' response, a profound association. Robin Roberts, no outsider to life-changing well-being fights herself, was apparently moved by Elizabeth Banks' story. Her response was one of shock as well as of sympathy and understanding, as she associated Banks' involvement in her own excursion through well-being challenges. Roberts' unique interaction. Robin's well-being process. Roberts has been open about her own fights with malignant growth and a dangerous blood problem, which required a bone marrow relocate. Her encounters have given her a one-of-a-kind viewpoint on the trepidation and vulnerability that accompanies confronting a close demise circumstance. Sympathy and understanding. As Banks shared her story, Roberts listened eagerly, her appearances reflecting both concern and compassion. Obviously, Roberts comprehended the gravity of what Banks had gone through, and her inquiries were outlined with a profound feeling of empathy. The effect on the meeting. A genuine discussion. The common perspective between the two ladies transformed the meeting into something other than a describing of occasions. It turned into a genuine discussion about the strength expected to defeat such minutes and the significant changes that follow. Close to home reverberation, Roberts' response drew out the profound profundity of Banks' story. Her certifiable premium and sympathetic reactions permitted Banks to open up more, causing the meeting to reverberate emphatically with the crowd. 3. Elizabeth Banks' new point of view. Following her brush with death, Elizabeth Banks made sense of how the episode had generally changed her point of view. This groundbreaking experience impacted her own life, yet in addition her expert decisions and the manner in which she sees the world. A change in needs. Family and connections. Banks uncovered that her nearby brush with death caused her to understand the significance of family and connections. She presently puts a more noteworthy accentuation on investing quality energy with friends and family, and it are supported to guarantee that her unique interactions. Proficient life. On the expert front, Banks shared that she no longer feels a similar strain to show what her can do in the business. Getting through such a startling encounter has given her another point of view on the main thing, and she currently moves toward her work with a re-established feeling of direction and equilibrium. Living with reason. Backing and mindfulness. Banks additionally talked about how her experience has propelled her to be more vocal about well-being support. She accentuated the significance of paying attention to one's body and looking for clinical assistance when something feels off, empowering others not to overlook expected advance notice signs. Appreciation and care. Banks currently rehearses appreciation and care all the more effectively in her day-to-day routine. She shared that consistently feels like a gift, and she attempts to experience every second without limit, appreciating the little delights that life offers. 4. Crowd response, a blend of shock and motivation. The crowd's response to Elizabeth Banks' story was predominantly certain, with many communicating shock at her disclosure and esteem for her solidarity. Virtual entertainment was buzzing with remarks from watchers who were both paralyzed by the story and enlivened by Banks' strength. Shock and concern. Surprising disclosure. Many fans were stunned by Banks' story, particularly since she had never freely examined the occurrence. The way that such a notable figure had gone through such a horrendous involvement with quietness added to the effect of her disclosure.